It's pretty much covered everything. I just mentioned a couple of points. Firstly, I think it's not really necessary that you have a very good finance background to get into a fintech. Personally speaking, from my experience and also looking at the profiles of few of the alumni who got placed before me, like for instance, I had not done a single non-core infra. Everything was core, and I was looking at companies like ITC from the start. And later on, I had a change of plans, and I decided to sit for finance companies. So I really don't think that it matters as long as you can show them that you are inclined towards finance. So all I had on my resume which was related to finance was NCFM. It's a very simple exam. You can prepare for it in 1 week and you can give a few modules, and it would at least show that you are interested in finance. And I think that is good enough. The main thing is getting the test right. So like you already mentioned, there are 3 parts in the test: quant, coding, and finance. And if you're preparing for Goldman or if you're preparing other than CAT material like Hot on the Street and 50 questions in probability, I think that should be enough for the quant section. It's not very difficult, but it's slightly more involved than the general CAT quant. As far as coding is concerned, I think the first year Insti course we did on C++, the questions are very similar to that. Like they would probably ask you the output to a code or similar stuff. So I think if you can revise your letter C and all those things, that should be more than sufficient. And yeah, as the finance part, as Raghav rightly mentioned, that it's not very important to score extremely high in finance, and if you can, like for instance, I only attempted around 10 to 15% of that section, but I did very well in the quant and the coding section, so that is the most important stuff. As far as my interview experience is concerned, for me it was mainly HR. They were trying to see if I am a good fit for the company, and for some reason they did not delve that much into the technical aspect, and they gave me situations and what kind of work that I would prefer. So they asked me questions like, would you generally want a front-end, client-facing role, or would you want to get into a more coding-based or implementation role, things like that. And a little bit about my internship. So even if my internships were not really relevant, they were just looking at how I approach my problems and how I think and break down problems. So that is more than enough.
Yeah, so I'm Mitul. I also got into FinMech. So majorly they have covered everything what FinMech expects from you. So one thing which they forgot, that there was one personality test with the test we had. So that test generally checks how what your personality is and how you think about the company, and generally this test was taken in October. So during my interview they had the question paper in front of them. So they asked me what do you think of fin mechanics? I didn't remember what I wrote in that question paper. So I just made it up that the time when I wrote this thing, I didn't know what fin mechanics was, but now I have a pretty fair idea what exactly they do. So that's why be genuine in your interview first of all. Do not fake anything, not in your resume or in the interview. They'll catch you, and obviously you won't be selected. Apart from that, they had my question paper in front of them, and they asked me questions on maths and to build an algorithm. Because they asked me which is your favorite course, and I recently did DSA. So I just told them that DSA is my favorite course, and they asked me to build an algorithm, not a coding part, but it's they wanted to see how my logic is. So and also I didn't have any fin knowledge. I had some financial and accounting for engineers course in my resume. That was all what I had in my resume, because I did management. My minor was management, and so they asked me basic balance sheets and all those questions. Just that they wanted to know that if I knew what I wrote it in my resume. Apart from that, the question paper was majorly for maths. It's not like your normal quant which you do it for other companies. It's more of a maths which you did for few JEE questions kind of thing will come, and you have to score good in maths. At least maths is you have to score well. They have some 11 questions, and at least you have to score 9 out of 11. And for coding or fin, you have to do 1 very well. And I fairly did well in this coding part, and fin also same as him. I did some 10 to 15% of things which were basic definitions and what RBI does and all that. So that was it.
so try to remember the answers you gave on your test, because they suddenly asked me what I didn't like about, like, what do you think, why don't you like about Finec, and for some reason I wrote, you have only TD tables, maybe not some outdoor environment. So I mean, be thorough with what you've written on your test paper, because they're going to question you on that. Secondly, yeah, I mean, right now you're not in a position to write CFA. Probably you can do NCFA, but don't worry, because most of the finance companies that come to IIT require you to have more of coding and quant knowledge rather than finance. So if you're really inclined in finance, want to have a career in finance, go right to it. I mean, you have a good chance of getting in if you're good at your quant or your coding.
Also, one more thing I forgot to mention is whatever you mention on your resume, make sure you are thorough with that, because they are going to have your resume right in front of them and they can ask anything from that. So if you are mentioning some course in your resume, make sure that you are thorough with that course. Even if you are not thorough with all the other courses, make sure you are thorough with those 4 courses or any project or any internship that you have mentioned. Make sure that you know everything about that.
And yeah, start preparing your resumes early, because earlier is better. Like, you have more time to iterate your resumes. You send it to seniors and get it iterated. Like, because if you have less time, you won't be putting a lot of things, and the framework is really important for your resume. If you have very good things but you don't put it in the right way in your resume, then it's a waste. Trust me, it's a waste. Like, there are people who had a lot of good things, but the only thing is the resume wasn't properly framed. So yeah, make sure that you start preparing your resumes early.
Yes, I mean, every iteration of your resume only gets better. So even if you've done 5 iterations, there's room for more. Towards the 6th time, and you'll understand that it's getting better. So I mean, focus on your resume is quite good, as I said. Any questions?